Southeast Alaska, home to some of the most beautiful and rugged terrain in the world. This week, Steve West climbs to the top of Baranof Island on one of the most challenging hunts in North America for the trophy mountain goats of Alaska. The conditions in which these animals live are too harsh to put into words. We'll join Steve as he and his guides pursue these incredibly tough and agile animals. Steve will then hunt the plentiful but elusive Sitka black-tailed deer, battling the elements in pursuit of these beautiful animals. Awesome hunting and incredible scenery on Steve's Outdoor Adventures.
Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Burris Optics and the Eliminator Laser Scope, Stormcloth 2 Performance Outerwear, Corbon DPX Ammunition, Kershaw Knives, the new Bresser 360 Trail Camera, Steiner Binoculars, Outdoor Trail Freeze-Dried Foods, Montana Decoy Company, CVA Muzzle Loaders, and UDAP Bear Pepper Spray.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures. Today I've got a very special hunt that I want to share with you, the folks at home. It's my most extreme hunt ever, and even though I did this hunt over 3 years ago, it still burns fresh in my memory and in my legs. This hunt is in Southeast Alaska on my personal quest for a mountain goat. The peaks there are tall and it's the 1st of August, and that's where the goats are at the very top of the mountain. We flew into a very remote lake where we started our hunt above Alpine and climbed straight up over 2,000 feet from there. Because of the sheer difficulty of this hunt, I consider this animal to be my finest trophy ever taken. I've also got a Sitka black-tailed deer tag in my pocket. These deer are easily spotted above Alpine during the month of August before they move into the timber in September. And then you hunt them again in November when the rut brings them to the beaches. This particular hunt I consider to be my finest hunting accomplishment ever. While it might not be the largest of all trophies, it still is a very fine representation of the species. But the hunt itself, the memory of climbing up those mountains, will burn in my memory forever. Let me take you now to Southeast Alaska on my personal quest for the mountain goat and Sitka black-tailed deer of Southeast Alaska.
Steve West's adventure began with a float plane ride out of Sitka, Alaska to Baranof Island. Witnessing breathtaking views from above, Steve and cameraman Nick Rogers' excitement grew as they closed in on their final destination, an alpine lake deep into Baranof Island's backcountry. After a short flight over rugged terrain, Steve arrived at the lake. From this point on, the only way Steve could go over another mountain would have to be on foot, and that will be no easy task.
Well, here we are at our goat hunting destination, right in the middle of Baranof Island. They pre-scouted several goats here this morning and quite a few deer. It's one of the guides' favorite places to hunt.
You know, the weather's directly related to how bad guys want out.
I never wanted out that bad.
Okay.
Now, after the plane dropped us off at the lake, the first couple thoughts that went through my mind were, wow, what a beautiful place. And then number two, the goats are way up there. This is going to be a steep climb.
After the drop, Steve and his guides Jeremy and Forrest set up camp and began glassing for goats.
Well, folks, just a little bit ago we flew into the lake, and on the flight in we located some goats, and Forrest and Jeremy were here, and they had already located several groups of goats just within a short distance of camp. When I say short distance, I mean a few hours walk from here. One of the great things about camping above alpine is that in many cases you can set up some chairs like this and your tripods and spotting scopes and do a lot of your scouting right from camp without burning a lot of calories, energy, and hiking all over your hunting area. It's really an awesome area. I mean, this was well pre-scouted, and because of what they saw from the air, that's why we have our camp here. This is really good. There's a lot of goats right up there. It's just a matter of time before we find a good shootable trophy animal. And there just might be one here. We just saw another one that's highlining. We're going to take a real good close look at it. But, definitely nice to be in a camp where you can sit right in camp and do the glassing and your pre-scouting.
After a fitful night's sleep high above the alpine, the hunters began their ascent just after daybreak the following morning.
As our adventure begins, we're going to start our ascent up the mountain. Stay tuned. After this commercial, we'll be on our way up the mountain.
Welcome back to Steve's Outdoor Adventures. We're in southeast Alaska on a mountain goat hunt on Baranof Island. Steve West and his guides Jeremy and Forrest have begun their ascent into goat country. There's an old saying, you earn a mountain goat, and I say amen to that. I'm guessing Steve is thinking the same thing right about now. As the group nears the top of the mountain, Forrest glasses above them and spots two billies right at the top of the mountain.
We just came around the corner. Forrest and Jeremy spotted the big billy right on the hillside above camp, about 2,000 feet above camp, but he's only about 250 yards above us right now. We need to stalk over further so we can get a full shot on him. He's the big one. We're gonna get him. All right, so we're gonna go this way right here. Get up on that. We're gonna get up on that rock.
Steve and the guides struggle across the loose scree and snowpack in an attempt to get into position for a shot before the goats go over the top. Steve quickly drops into position as the goats head for the peak. As Steve is chambering around, the billies cross over the top and out of sight. Now those boys don't look like happy campers right now, do they? A missed opportunity means one thing: more climbing.
Did you have him, Nick? I looked through the scope and forgot to take off my caps. Now I went after the second one. I just couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't get steady, you know. My feet kept slipping.
Well, the score's goats 1, Steve 0. But it's early in the hunt, and Steve has two excellent guides working hard to get him a goat. The group prepares to keep climbing in pursuit of the goats. They work their way over the top and catch up with the billies, working their way across the mountain on the far side of a huge snowpack. Steve gets into position and prepares for a shot. Now these goats are 550 yards away, and Steve needs the goats to stop in order to give him a good standing shot. As Steve waits, the goats slip into a crevice and out of sight.
Still got goat number 2.
Run after they took off.
I just seen them go over that hill. I haven't seen them come out yet.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Just in that crevice right there?
I haven't seen them come out of that crevice.
See, I covered the other half of that crevice. I never saw them leave it.
No.
Almost makes me, and that's not that long of a crevice.
Yeah,
Makes me wonder if one of them's not laying in there.
No, we got to go check it out.
Now this is where the story takes an incredibly fortunate turn of events. As Steve and his guide Forrest wait at the top of the mountain, guide Jeremy Phillips and cameraman Nick Rogers head down the mountain to look for the goats. Well, on the way down, they run right into another goat working its way up the mountain and right past the camera. The goat walks straight up a steep snowpack, and with every step, it is getting closer and closer to Steve West. Welcome back to Steve's Outdoor Adventures. Hunter Steve West is hunting mountain goats on Baranof Island in southeast Alaska. Steve is perched at the top of the mountain, and this goat is headed right for him. Steve waits for the goat to present a broadside shot. And just that quickly, Steve had successfully taken a trophy mountain goat in Alaska. Just when he thought all was lost, Steve got a little luck to turn his way, and he took full advantage of the opportunity.
Lucky he hung up where he did.
Yep.
He looked tired.
Totally expired. Well, folks, as you can see, we just successfully completed this goat hunt. It was an absolutely awesome experience. I showed up for this goat hunt way out of condition. All I can tell you is that you should get in great condition before you go on a goat hunt. Twice today we had chances at these great big goats. First time I didn't get a shot. Second time, guide Jeremy and cameraman Nick went down to go see if they could find the goats down here in the bottom. While they were down there, I was on top watching with We're guiding forest, making sure that the goats didn't escape from the top. Sure enough, they bumped into another goat, this goat, down in the bottom, and it came right up to us. I went ahead and took this goat. It's about a 200-yard shot. Clean, perfect shot placement. Took it down fast. Lazzaroni rifle really cleanly and efficiently takes out animals. I can honestly tell you, I mean, look at this. It's awesome. We're on top of the world. We're at 4,000 plus feet in elevation. We just killed a 9¼ inch goat. I mean, this is the best. You haven't lived till you've come goat hunting. If any of you out there have ever dreamed of going goat hunting, give me a call. I know right where to bring you on a great goat hunt. Some good guides to book you with.
Now let's join Steve on the last day of his hunt for Sitka blacktails.
All right, we were down at camp, taking a bit of a break, a lot of a break in the rain, and Jeremy and Forrest came up to glass for deer. They found a good buck, big Sitka blacktail buck, bedded up here underneath one of the cliffs. Jeremy came down to get us. We're making our way up to where Forrest has got him located right now. You say he's just over the hill? Yeah, Forrest is just over. All right, let's go over to Forrest then. Awesome. We're gonna make our way down about 50 yards closer. We think we're within rifle range.
Welcome back to Steve's Outdoor Adventures. Hunter Steve West and his guides Jeremy and Forrest are stalking closer to a big Sitka blacktail in southeast Alaska. The group glasses for the buck on the mountain above them. Steve spots the buck and ranges it at 240 yards. The buck, wise to the hunter's presence, is staring the group down. Steve settles his crosshairs on the buck's chest and squeezes the trigger.
Hit. Rolling.
He's coming right at us. He's hit. It's look low.
Looked low in the leg. Hit
Low
him
in the
again.
leg.
Hit him again. He's hitting the leg. No, he wasn't hitting the leg. I think he's down.
I took him through the upper part of the foot.
He's rolling. He's rolling.
He's rolling. Oh, he's gone.
Stop. Nice shot. Woo! Those 250 grains. Those 250 grains are pretty good.
Held dead on. I held dead on.
I could see it was like this much. I didn't think you were
Good find, boys. All right. Real good, typical deer for above alpine hunting here on Baranof Island. Can't say enough about the guides. They've gone the extra mile or two on several occasions. Just excellent experience all the way around for me. It's an outfitter we've been booking for a long time. Looking forward to getting them some more goat hunters and making sure that the early season hunters get some deer tags for August. Just like I say, can't say enough great things about the experience I've had here above alpine. Wish the weather would have been a little bit nicer, maybe a little more sunny. We could have got some flights out, although it worked out that real well that the flight didn't come in and get us this morning, because we wouldn't have found this great deer and been able to take a great shot. Thanks again, guys, and hopefully I'll be able to see you next year in August, because I'd like to come back and do this again in a little bit better condition. Folks, join us next week when we go to another exotic destination on a Steve's Outdoor Adventure.